So we should type our question in the chat box first.
Yes, please. And then I will go ahead and call on you. I mean, Megan, you sent yours as the first one, and I think it's a good way to start us off. So how about we go with it?
All right, sounds good. So thank you so much. I'm so excited. We have loved the movie. My daughter plays it on repeat. So, but I think a lot of people have speculated about this, and I'm dying to know whether or not, Mirabelle has a gift, and has the miracle chosen her to kind of take over Abuela's place, and as one of the ones who takes care of the miracle, because she does such a good job of taking care of the family and supporting the family.
I love that. Yeah, I think Mirabelle absolutely has a gift. Her name, Mira, in Spanish means to look. And it was a very particular choice to name her that and to give her the glasses as part of her character design. Because I think she's the one that can see people the most clearly. She's the one who can kind of look past their facades and look past the roles that they play and see the complex person inside. She's able to kind of help Luisa and Isabella and Bruno and ultimately her grandmother, right? And see people with empathy, see people with love. And so I think that is Mirabelle's gift. She just didn't need a magic room to go along with that gift. So I think she had a gift all along.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Robin, do you want to go ahead and ask your question about music?
Yeah, hi, my name's Robin Davis from MomTheMagnificent.com. And the soundtrack, I think we can all agree, is just fantastic. It is playing nonstop in my household, and my oldest daughter is even singing We Don't Talk About Bruno at her spring concert later on this year. So I'd love to know, what's your favorite song from the soundtrack and why?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. I legitimately love all of the songs from this movie, and I was so excited as Lynn was writing them. We would hear his demos, and then to kind of have all the actors come on and really build the ensemble was just a privilege to witness all of that and be a part of it. But if I had to pick one song, I really have a soft spot in my heart for Mirabelle's song, actually. I love it. I think it's beautiful and yearning and so vulnerable, and so unique in terms of like the Disney heroine canon. She's a really, I think, special character, and I just love that moment with her. So I really love her song.
Thank you. Ashley, do you want to go ahead and ask your very interesting question about horror films? I love this one.
Hi, I'm Ashley Saunders from With Ashley & Co. So you have a background working on horror films, and I felt like, especially in the prophecy scenes, it kind of plays out a little bit like that. How did your previous work inform how you approach the darker elements of Encanto?
That's a great question. I got a lot of jokes about like the magical house versus haunted house when I first started at Disney. But I think my favorite kind of storytelling is stories that really sort of engage with the truth of human emotion and human relationship, and then have some kind of cool genre-y element on top of it that really takes the story to another level. So I think the best horror films are about genuine human emotion and fear and relationship, and then they have like like a scary house on top of it or whatever. And this movie I think is the same in a lot of ways. It's really Jared Bush, who wrote the screenplay, and I, as we were writing it, really wanted to make sure that this movie would work even if there was no magic in it, that the story would still function and the relationships would still feel real. So that was something we tried to like keep in mind the entire time, was making sure this story worked without the magic and then adding a bunch of delicious, amazing magic on top of that. So I think, Haunting of Hill House and Encanto, are they so different? I don't know.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's so great. Cammie, you can go ahead and ask your question about all the 12 characters.
Hi, Charise. I'm Cammie from the Charise.com. First of all, I needed to mention that I saw you were a graduate of Brown University, and I'm from Rhode Island. So hi. What I love most about Encanto is that there's 12 main characters, and you often don't see that in a lot of movies because that's such a big number, but it works. So I was wondering, which character are you most able to relate to?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. Yes, it was like a huge, incredible challenge to design 12 characters,
Could you
make
try
them
again?
all. Oh, is that me? Oh, weird. Anyway, to design them, to kind of give them all character arcs. I think if I had to say which character I relate to the most, sometimes I feel like Peppa. Sometimes I feel like Mirabelle. So maybe like a cross between the two of them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and Kennedy, I'm going to come to you if you want to come off mute and ask your question.
Okay, you're up.
So I have a question. If you could have any magical power, what would it be?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. If I could have any magical power, what would it be? I love animals, and if I could communicate with them, if I could know what my dog Ralph is thinking when he licks the couch all the time, that would be amazing. So I would love to be able to communicate with animals. I think Antonio has an awesome gift.
I think she agrees. I'd love to talk to animals too. On the same vein, Jana, do you want to ask your question regarding gifts?
Yeah. Hi. So were there any gifts that were given to a character that you guys contemplated giving to a different character?
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely. You know, for a long time in our development and screening process, Peppa was actually indestructible. She was like, you know, she was like sort of superhuman ability to sort of like bounce back and was indestructible. And for a long time, Julieta, Mirabel's mom, had the weather power. So she was the one who was kind of always having to like kind of stay calm, to like make the flowers, like make the crops grow and things like that. But then as we started thinking, you know, we talked a lot like with our Familia Trust, which was a group of employees within the studio, about like our own moms and just how it seemed like they had the ability to just like cook things that could heal any ailment. And so once we started having that conversation for Julieta, that became her gift, and that started to feel really right. And, you know, then we just loved this weather power so much that we were like, okay, so what if it's wielded by someone who is not calm and collected, but someone who's very mercurial? And that's how Peppa came about.
Great, thanks. You. All right, coming to you next, Nicole, to ask the question about, you know, focusing on a Colombian family.
Hi, Charise.
Hi.
I was just curious, being that you have a Cuban descent and everything like that. I'm just curious, kind of what inspired you all to write about a Colombian family versus, you know, other Latin heritage?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was actually something that started even before I came onto the film. So Jared Bush and Byron Howard, who are the two directors of the movie, and one of them co-wrote the screenplay with me. They had these two very good friends, these documentary filmmakers, Juan Rendon and Natalie Osma, who were Colombian. And as they were talking to Lin-Manuel about making the first Latinx Disney musical and where it was going to be set, Juan and Natalie said, "You have to come to Colombia. It's the most beautiful place. It is so full of amazing nature, amazing culture, amazing music, food. The people are amazing." And so actually Lin-Manuel and Jared and Byron went on a research trip to Colombia and just fell in love with it and knew that the movie had to be set there. I was supposed to go on a research trip on March of 2020, so I did not get to go, but I am so excited to go and just experience this wonderful place that we've spent all this time researching for the movie.
Thank you.
All right, Amy, do you want to ask your Easter egg question?
Absolutely. Hi, it's Amy Felcher from As the Bunny Hops, and
Hi.
Easter eggs are always
my favorite part of anything that comes from Disney or Pixar. So I would love to know if there's any that maybe audiences haven't found yet watching that you want to give us any hints on.
Oh my goodness, I think the internet has found everything about this movie. um, I think some of my personal favorites, I love the like Bruno Let It Go reference in the song All of You. I love like the sort of, there's a reference to the Colombian soccer team in the Rat telenovela in Bruno's room. I love that one too. There's a lot of good ones. I think, though I can't, I wish I could tell you one that fans have not found, but I think they found them all.
Thank you. All right, Karen, you're up next if you want to go off mute and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Karen Angustia from Chica in the City. So my question is, as a Latinx writer, how important was it to write a story set in Latin America?
Yeah, it was hugely important. I think it's the reason that I became so interested in this project, the reason that I signed on. You know, not just because I love the idea of this, but because I just wanted to be a part of making this. It felt historic. It felt like a movie that I wish I had had when I was a little kid, and a movie that I am proud that my daughter has. So it means a whole lot. It's hugely important to me, and I feel grateful and really humbled to have been able to be a part of it.
Okay, and I think I've let everyone do a question, so feel free to keep sending me questions your way because you have so many awesome ones I see in here. Nicole, do you want to ask the question about Lin-Manuel?
Yes. So I was just curious, did you do any collaborating with Lin-Manuel as you guys developed the storyline for the film and kind of tweak the story to fit in the songs or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. It was a really like close collaboration. So he wasn't just writing the songs, but he was really sort of helping us find areas where there could be songs. He was helping us kind of push the boundaries of what we thought we could do in it, like through song. You know, it was his idea to have a big ensemble moment right in the middle of the movie that turned into a song that maybe you guys have heard about. I don't know. Yes, it was a close collaboration. He was on board from the very beginning and was so helpful. He and his father, actually, his father, Luis Miranda, was also a consultant on the story and was really helpful to us. They would watch screenings and give us feedback. And with Lin-Manuel, it was a lot of me and Jared sort of identifying what we thought the song moment was and sending ideas and pitching that over to him. And he would write like amazing songs and then trading back and forth. I think Waiting on a Miracle, Mirabel's song, was the one that took the longest because it was a process of really honing and refining what it was that she was saying in that moment. But it was a real dream come true getting to work with him.
Great. We have time for a few more. So I think, Megan, I'd love you to ask your question about the rooms.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you picture the inside of some of the other characters' rooms that we didn't get to see, like Peppa and Louisa? What would they look like?
That's a great question. I think, yes, and our visual development artists actually did sort of designs for everybody's room. I think my personal favorite was we had a design for Peppa's room that I wish could have been in the movie. It was stunning. It was designed by one of our visual development artists, a very talented artist named Lorelei Beauvais, and it was just gorgeous. It was clouds and rainbows, and it was so amazing. I hope it comes back around in some capacity because it was just really stunning.
Hopefully we'll get it in an art book sometime.
There you go.
And then I think a few of you have asked this question, but like just to wrap up, Charise, would love to hear, the message that you think is most important and that you hope families learn from this.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things that's been so exciting to me is people have taken so many different things from this movie. I mean, some people really sort of gravitate towards Mirabel and her journey to kind of figure out her identity and define who she is and locate her own worth and know that, I think that's something that resonates with me also really strongly. But, you know, I've heard a lot also from people that this movie has helped their families have sometimes difficult conversations, you know, and it's opened up conversations about the past and about how people treat each other and how they talk to each other. And in a lot of cases, allowed people to be more vulnerable with each other than they had been. And so I think that also this like idea of listening with compassion and not assuming we know everything about the people that we're closest to is also a really important part of this movie.
Okay, well, I lied because we just got 2 other great questions while you answered that one. So I'll first do Nicole, if you can do your question you just sent, and then we'll finish up with Jana. I think your question is a fun one to end with.
Thanks. So Charise, my last question is, myself being Latina, I can relate to the story a lot because my own abuela was super hard on me, and you almost have that sense of perfection. And I related to Mirabel a lot. So I was going to ask you if you kind of base a story on, you know, being relatable growing up in a Hispanic household as well.
Sure. First of all, also, I love your shirt. It's so cool. It's like a little, it's like a, yeah.
Mirabel.
Yes, no, this story is like very personal to me in that way. You know, my grandmother was actually a very sweet, loving person, but you know, my grandfather, I think really struggled. My family came from Cuba, and it was really hard for them when they first came to this country. And my grandfather kind of, I think, took the scars of that time period of his life, and it made him a challenging person. You know, I never doubted his love for me, but I think there was some abuela alma in him for sure, of just this pressure, not just to succeed and be happy, but to kind of prove something. And you know, but I feel very it was very important to me from the very beginning that this movie not just kind of touch on the difficulties, but also the possibility of redemption. And that moment where Mirabel and Abuela are finally able to see and understand each other, I think is something I hope for everybody who has these kind of challenging relationships with their families.
Okay, and Jana, bring us home.
All right. So if you could move into the House Madrigal, which room would you choose?
Oh, Antonio's, like in a heartbeat. Love it. I love his whole jungle room, like the hammocks and the water slides, and like Antonio, 100%. I love his room. It's the greatest.
Amazing. Well, thank you all so much for your thoughtful questions and joining us today. Very happy to have Charise answer them for you all, and hopefully you can take away some good nuggets as we continue to, you know, go into Oscar season as well. So thanks for attending. Really appreciate it. And of course, we'll send this recording around at the end.
Thanks, everybody. It's nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.